Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
When the moon is in the 7th house and Jupiter aligns with Mars, then peace will guide the planets and love will steer the stars.
This is the dawning of the age.
Sing it, brothers and sisters!
The age of
Aquarius, Aquarius. Harmony and understanding, sympathy and trust abounding. No more falsehoods or derisions, golden living dreams of visions, mystic crystal revelations, and the mind's true liberations. Aquarius, Aquarius. When the moon is in the 7th house and Jupiter aligns with Mars, then peace will guide the planets and love will steer the stars. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, the age of Aquarius, Aquarius. To the show, guys. Welcome to the show. See, I'd audition to be in the forthcoming production of Hair, but after singing Aquarius, I need to sit down for 20 minutes and get my breath back. It's a tough old one to sing, guys, but I think you'll agree with me. I certainly do it justice. Good evening, dear listener. Iain Lee on Talk Radio. Now, absolutely knackered. Do you know what that means? Of course I do. I'm Korean Billy. Let's start off with the fact that I'm a little bit narked this evening. I treated myself. I've not treated myself for ages and ages and ages, right? So I treated myself and I bought myself some fancy aftershave from an online retailer, which we'll call Amazon.co.uk. So I bought this aftershave and there's a few I like. I quite like Hugo Boss. I quite like Issey Miyake, but the one there's one called Man. It's called Man. I like it. The reason I don't like Man is it's in a weird shaped bottle, so you can't stand the bottle up. The bottle has to lie down. You have to lie the bottle down. Lay the bottle down. So the one I went for was Prada. Oh. And I tried Prada a long, long time ago, and I absolutely loved it. Now, I made the bold move, okay? When I wear aftershave, the scent doesn't linger for very long. And for the first time in my life, I'm 43 years old, I decided not to get the eau de toilette. I got what's it called? Homo Plus. Chronologist. What is it? Homo Intense, I bought, right? Because it said in the thing, Homo Intense is a more, it's got more flavour in it. It's got more of the Prada leaves, whatever it is they put in there, I don't know. It's got more in there. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's, you know, and I thought, well, I'm going to try that. And so I ordered it. Wasn't cheap, 60 quid, for a big bottle. And it came today, right? And I was very, very excited, because it came today. And I got it out, and it's weird, it's in a bottle, and you have to take the cap off, and then there's a spritzer that comes with it. So you get the spritzer, and you put the spritzer in, and then there's like a button on the side of the spritzer. So it's not a press down on the top, there's a button on the side that you squeeze. So I put some on, and Ash smelt it, and Ash thought it smelt nice, and Catherine smelt it, and Catherine thought it smelt nice, and I smelt it, and I thought it smelt nice. And I was really pleased with myself. And it was on the desk, and I kept looking at it thinking, you deserve that, son. Well done. You deserve that. You don't often get stuff for yourself. You deserve that, son. Well done. Well done, son. That is yours. You deserve that. 60 quid. It's a luxury. You deserve that, son. Well done. Anyway, throughout the course of the evening, food was consumed, coffee was quaffed, Crime Watch was watched, and I came back to the bottle. I noticed the bottle had been knocked over. Okay, so it was lying on its back. I thought, well, that's okay. That's okay. These things happen. I picked up the bottle. It had leaked out. About a third of it had leaked out. About a third had leaked out. I couldn't believe it. I was gutted. I can't. So no, Kath, come and look at this. And she looked at it, and there was a big. I'm just shaking it now. Make sure I've got the lid on. Yeah, a third of it gone. And Kath said there was a big puddle of it on the table. And Kath said, "Well, do you want me to wipe it up?" I went, "Hang on a minute. And I dipped my hands into the pool of this it's about 20 quid's worth on the flipping table, right? I dipped my hands in it. I rubbed it all over my hair, all over my face. I put it down my trousers. And then I put my hand in the pool again. And I rubbed my trousers, knowing these trousers are probably going to have a wash in the next 2 or 3 weeks, so it probably wasn't worth it. I rubbed my trousers. I put my hand in it again, and I splashed it all over. 20 quid's worth! A third of it spilt out! What the hell is that all about, guys? So the reason I'm singing Hair from Aquarius from Hair, pardon me, is because it is the only thing that lifts my mood. Apart from, of course, Bohemian Rhapsody played on recorders by Japanese. See, that's good as well. And Hair has been my constant friend throughout the weekend. And so I'm in a lousy mood. I'm so gutted. But, saying that, if you want to give us a call this evening, do. A busy show tonight. Before the end of the show, you're probably going to hear the interview I did with Nicholas Parsons. You're certainly going to hear me speaking to Steve Johnson. Steve Johnson's story. We're going to speak to him at midnight. He's in New York, I think. He's coming on to talk about his brother Scott Johnson, who died in 1988 at a gay cruising point, and it was called suicide. He jumped off a cliff. But there's now loads and loads of evidence that it wasn't suicide, and actually there were loads of murders of gay men in Australia in the 70s and the 80s. Here's the thing. It wasn't legal, being gay, it wasn't legalised. The first state, I don't know a lot about Australia, the first state in Australia to legalise being gay was the Southern State. Is that a place? 1975. And the last place was Tasmania in the 1990s. Flipping heck. Honestly, I'm not hiding the fact I nicked this story from somewhere else. I heard Steve Johnson speaking to Eddie Mair on BBC Radio 4 a few weeks ago, and the story absolutely blew me away, and the dignity with which Mr. Johnson speaks about his brother, it honestly at midnight, it's going to be incredible. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Good evening, Kai.
Good evening.
Good evening, Kai. What have you got for us?
I'm talking about deodorant, right?
Oh, yeah?
And what you talked about on the first of your conversation.
The first of my conversations, yes.
Yes. What is my favourite deodorant?
I don't know. Is it a quiz? Is it Lynx Africa?
It's Brut.
It's what?
Brut.
It's what?
It's Brut. It's that green one.
Brut?
Yes.
How are you spelling Brut?
It's B-R-U-T.
Ah, I think it's pronounced Brute.
Brute or something, yeah.
Yeah, not Brut. If you're going into your local Boots or wherever and asking for Brut, they're going to give you short shrift, which is another excellent deodorant.
Yeah.
I like deodorants and the fact that we have things that make us smell nice. But here's the thing, Kai. For the last couple of days, I've not had any deodorant. And I smelt the way a man is supposed to smell. It smelt musky. It smelt horny. It smelt woody. And it smelt rank. And that is what a man is meant to smell like, Kai.
They have to smell beautiful.
What are you talking about?
They have to smell good.
No!
When they go out.
A man is meant to smell of the earth.
No, they have to smell good.
What are you, some kind of ponce or something? They're meant to smell... Have you never seen a fish called Wanda?
The fish? No.
No, the film.
No.
A fish called Wanda?
No.
You never seen it?
No.
John Cleese?
No, I haven't. No.
Jamie Lee Curtis?
No.
Michael Palin's got a stammer in it.
I just watched Mary Poppins and something like that.
Well, in A Fish Called Wanda, Calvin Klein plays Jamie Lee Curtis's boyfriend. And to get himself aroused, he doesn't use deodorant. And to get himself aroused, he lifts up his armpit, puts his head in his pit and goes... And the pheromones that his pit give off cause him to achieve an erection. Yes, exactly. Oh. So my suggestion is, Kai...
Yeah?
Put the Brut down for a couple of days and see where you end up.
Of course I will.
Good lad.
And there's another thing what I want to say.
Of course there is.
Yes. You know that show, what was on... can I say it?
Well, it depends what show you're...
Called TFF with Watco?
Oh, yes.
That's coming back on Friday.
Outrageous behaviour. Imagine them coming onto this radio station to plug another show, Kai. That behaviour is simply not acceptable. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. It's going to be one of them shows. Don't forget to tick your radar diaries. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
The wild man of late night radio is back.
Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. You'd be more than welcome. They're all coming out of the woodwork tonight. Let's the next cab off the rank. It's Paul Akinbola.
Hello.
Good evening, Paul. We're flying blind this evening because normally you email me to let me know what it is you want to talk about tonight. You've not done that, Paul, so this really could be about anything, although I suspect it's going to be about a homoerotic TV show from the 90s that you want to bring back. Am I correct?
Well, and I have an idea.
Okay, is it for a TV show?
Because I'm doing the enterprise course with this trust.
Fantastic.
Made for.
Yeah.
If my if the business plan is successful and my media company makes a profit,
yes,
I would produce a 3-hour Saturday morning kids show for my online channel on YouTube.
Yes.
It would be similar to David Letterman format.
So you can do a David Letterman show for kids on your YouTube channel if your business venture becomes successful and you make loads of money.
Yeah.
So who's going to host it?
It'll be hosted by a budding stand-up comedian that can be talented. It can be talented.
Yes.
Not looking very
and cheap.
CBC or even the T4-ish.
Yeah. Okay. Have you got any names in mind, Paul? Because I'm a trained television professional.
People who young budding stand-up comics.
Yeah, well, I did do stand-up comedy for several years, and I am a trained television professional.
Yeah. We're looking for a budding stand-up comic.
Yes, that, as I say, I have done stand-up comedy, and I'm certainly budding. Right now, actually, which is awkward. Would you consider me for the role of this host, Paul Akinbola?
No.
Okay. I like your direct attitude.
It'll be filmed at the youth club, youth club that is a place for people with learning difficulties and difficulties.
Yes.
In London, in the top floor.
The top floor. Okay. Well, it sounds like a winner, Paul. What's this show going to be called?
Saturday Morning with
Paul Akinbola.
The name? No. I'm not. Will be auditions for a stand-up comic.
Budding. A budding stand-up comic be filmed on the top floor, and it'll be called Saturday Morning with the name of this budding stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
Sounds brilliant. Genuinely, it sounds brilliant.
What guests will have? You will have a mixture of A-list.
Well,
guest,
Paul Akinbola, as you've turned me down for the host, and I understand your reasoning, you want someone budding. I am a trained television professional, and I'm an excellent guest.
Yeah. The not so famous celebrities.
Yeah, well, not so famous celebrities. I could fit into that. Would you? I'm going to put Paul. I'm going to be direct with you because you're being direct with me. Would you consider me as one of the guests on Saturday Morning with this budding stand-up comedian?
Probably.
Yay! I like that. I like that style. That's a probably. Yes, I'm in.
And the non-A-list guests will take up in the Stars games that will be that so Gail Grain noted, but will be safe, clean one.
So you're just going to steal all of the ideas from David Letterman and Graham Norton? Well, it worked for those guys.
Yeah.
Paul, I wish you the best of luck with it. Let me know when it's on and when you want me to turn up and be the guest.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. 0344 499 1000. No, Catherine, keep the bat signal up. Keep the bat signal up. Catherine is atop the Talk Radio building, and we have a bat signal, and we fire it up when we want some of our more, let's say, colourful callers. And boy, oh boy, we've got off to a flying start. So just keep flying. Oh, and look, it's Darren. Evening, Darren.
Unbelievable. That was so sarcastic, that, Iain. Right. Hello there. Evening, Iain. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, Darren. How are you doing this evening?
Fine, I think. Right.
Are you high on cocaine this evening?
Not. Iain, can we stop that, please, now, straight away? Because, no, I'm not.
Well, can you stop it?
You got us, like, it's like you guys on...
Can you stop it?
Yes. I've come to a conclusion on that, like.
What's your conclusion you've come to?
It's going to be about tonight. Please, I can't believe that when
it's a conversation. Don't get paranoid.
No, I totally respect the word. Iain,
yeah.
Come on, dude. No, it's very poetic.
So are you cleaning up your act?
Yes, massively.
When was the last time you did it?
Actually, the other day when he said what he said.
Hey, well, we were speaking. Hey, brilliant. Well, good for you, brother. Good for you.
It's not. Well, it's. One of my friends wanted me to podcast that, right?
Yeah.
And I refused, obviously.
What?
Well, you know.
Okay. But just imagine all the money you'll have in your pocket.
Iain, it wasn't the money thing that you said, and I couldn't find the podcast one, being honest, to be honest with you. Like,
now I don't know. Now I don't know what you're talking about.
No.
But what have you called in for this evening, Darren, while Catherine's flashing her bats?
Well, you made us forget.
I didn't make you do anything.
You did that.
I didn't.
Blame it on anything else.
I didn't make you forget.
Hold on, Ian.
Hold on.
Right, cheers. Right, you know that I'll talk in code because you don't want to talk about your TB.
My TB?
Mr. Boyd, man, not your TB.
I thought you meant tuberculosis.
No.
Why do you want to talk about Tommy Boyd? I mean, his history.
Remember last week I spoke about the differences in talk show radios?
Okay, if you say so.
Oh, you don't remember? Right, anyway. Cut a long story short, right?
Well, it's too late for that.
To yours on... Cheers, all right. I went to yours on YouTube.
Yes.
And just answered loads of questions. So next time I call, can we stop going on about me cocaine?
Well... I'm confused. I thought you were talking about Tommy Boyd now. Now you're the one talking. You're talking about cocaine. I'm not talking about cocaine. I'm talking about Tommy Boyd.
Stop playing games, please.
I'm not doing anything. We finished that. We moved on to Tommy Boyd.
No.
And now you're talking about. Now you're having a come down rage.
Oh God, the truth hurts,
doesn't it, Darren? Doesn't it just when you can hear the truth? When you can hear the truth.
Ian, every time I'm phoning now, I'm trying to be sort of in a better sort of state of mind.
And I wish you the very best of luck with that. I hope you can pull it off, genuinely.
How's your meds going, if you don't mind asking?
Yeah, they're all right. I sank last night. I had a really good weekend, and then suddenly I found myself in bed, and I felt miserable.
Mm-hmm. Did you double bubble on the half bubble, if you know what I mean?
I double bubbled on the half bubble, yes.
What that's worked out worse?
No.
That's one of the main reasons, by the way. Sorry to interrupt you. Is that? But I never want to talk about that because
I don't know what. No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's be fair. The meds, the depression thing, man.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, well, I know you didn't take the full dosage.
No, for 3 weeks, I misunderstood the tablets I had. I thought they were 150 gram tablets, but they weren't. They were 75 gram tablets, so I was only taking half the dose. Yeah. I've now gone back to the dose I should be on.
Right, so, oh God, that must mass with the rotation, if you know what I mean.
No.
Well, anyway... I'm
yes,
glad
Dan.
You're getting by.
I thought you were talking about Tommy Boyd. I'm so confused.
Well, no, hold on. I was. But last week I phoned you about Tommy and your phone call to Tommy. Yes, Ian? Do you know the phone call, your phone call to Tommy? I thought would be brilliant.
I remember.
Thank you. God sake.
No. I wasn't talking about that. I remember the coke come downs. I remember the bad tempers.
How are you, man? How are that's unfair.
Okay, but I just remember. But you've got a cob on. You've got a cob on for no reason. Where's this cob on come from?
Ian, I'm fine. You're
just getting a little bit aggy. Just a little bit.
Well, right. Thanks for the point on the little bit. Right. So can I?
I was being polite.
I bet you were. Right, so the point is, because you asked us about Tommy again, which I didn't.
No, I didn't ask you about Tommy. You mentioned Tommy tonight. I didn't mention him. You did.
No, you asked us why I mentioned Tommy.
No, you phoned up tonight and you started talking about TB.
No, I did not talk about TV. You know how I know why I didn't? Because
you're talking nonsense. You phoned up. We talked about cocaine, and then you said I've called in to talk about TB, and I said, "What do you mean?" You said Tommy Boyd, and I said, "Oh, I thought you meant tuberculosis."
No, mate.
That happened. Do you remember that now, Darren?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Jeez. Flipping heck.
So right, we got back to Anyway, I went to your YouTube, and it was better. And that was it.
I'm better than Tommy Boyd. His history, yes. I could have told you that.
The moral of that story, I went to listen to his old calls.
Yes.
When I used to listen to it until everything went tits up, everything went wrong.
Yes.
With right? And flipping, I went right. So I tried both ends of the scale. So to be honest, right, you're spot on.
Thanks for calling, Darren.
No probs.
0344 499 1000. Kath, stay up there with the bat signal a little bit longer, please. I'm enjoying this. This is a fine start to a week. 03, no Periscope tonight, dear listener. It's a radio show this evening. It's a radio show. So you have to create the images in your mind. Give us a call now, 0344 499 1000. Don't forget to tick your radio diaries. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late night conversation worth losing sleep over. Iain Lee.
On air and off the leash.
On Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Get rid of that music. Tonight we're playing this. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. If you want to give us a call this evening, it's Monday night, it's Talk Radio, and the air is fruity, the air smells divine, dear listener, because I spent 20 quid's worth of blooming I nearly swore then. The F-bomb nearly came out. 20 quid's worth of blooming aftershave on the table. I gutted. I haven't bought aftershave for so long. I mean, literally like a year. And it was a nice treat for myself, and it went everywhere. Unbelievable. Mark's in Tunbridge Wells. Good evening, Mark.
Hello, Ian. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you okay. Can you hear me okay, Mark? Mark, can you hear me okay?
Hello? Hello?
Mark, can you hear me okay?
I'm just testing the line with the guitar. This is the new
Can
way.
Can you just test it again? I'm not sure we got the signal through.
Hang on, I'll just get Jimi Hendrix. Jimmy, can you come over here with the guitar? Oh man, what a drag.
I'm dead.
Here we go, ready?
Yeah, it sounds like Hendrix. Yes, not bad.
Hello.
Yes, I've not got it. I've not got it. Because I bought my eldest a guitar to paint, right?
Oh, right, yeah.
And we bought him a Fender, a cheap Chinese Fender copy kit. So it's a guitar we're going to put together, but the body is untreated, right? And we had some killjoy last week saying, well, you got to prime it and then sand it and then prime it and then sand it. Blah, 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 blah. I got some spray on primer, put 3 coats on, and the boy spent 2 hours on Sunday painting just the back of the guitar. Kath's seen it. It's flipping brilliant. He's going to call it the Electro Rainbow guitar, right?
Oh, cool.
He's painted it. It is proper psychedelic, right? It looks brilliant. So he's doing that. But I also, for 30 quid, bought my youngest a 3/4 size guitar. An electric guitar. I thought I had a video of him playing it. I could play the audio. It sounds better than what you were just doing.
What?
Yeah. Here we go. Hang on a minute. Oh, be quiet, String Beatles. Have some of this. So this is my boy with his electric guitar. You like it, Kim? Gives it to his brother. His brother has a go. Listen to this. Never played an electric guitar in his life. Listen to this boy. Boy genius. Here we go. Now press the strings down. Yeah, that is better than what you were doing, Mark.
Ian, what you got to do, right,
Yes.
is download Open Tuning.
Oh, I was thinking, well, I can work an Open Tuning out where they just put their finger across it.
Yeah, and all you need to do,
if
you do Keith Richards, all these songs that when I started playing guitar, I couldn't work out why I couldn't play any Stone songs.
He's all got funny tunings.
Yeah, so So if you look up Open G, which is the easiest, which is what they used to bottleneck used to play. That if you do Open G, just tell them to put the second string and the fourth string.
Yeah.
And that's the chord.
Yeah.
And then you bar without putting fifth, just bar at the fifth and the seventh.
Well, I was just thinking, indulge me for a second, I know what he's talking about. Can you not just tune it to an E chord? So then all they just got to put their finger across the strings and move it up.
No, it's the same. You can do Open E, but Open E means two strings have to go up, and it means the strings might snap. If you do... If you do an Open G tuning...
But then part of me thought, Mark, that's cheating. And,
no.
And why not just teach them guitar? He's already kind of got his head around a G chord.
Yeah. Well, tell Keith Richards that. I'm sure he's cheating. He's made him a lot of money.
Well, yeah, I know, exactly. But I'm kind of thinking... But to innovate, you have to learn the basics and then unlearn the basics. Boom.
Well, I think teach them 3 chords... And a blues scale. And
by the way, can I just say, we're 35 minutes into the week. It's very, very blokey already. Can we get some women phoning up, please? It's very, very... I've noticed, if a Monday show is blokey... The whole week is blokey. If a Monday show is a little bit fruity, and by that I mean women phoning in, then the whole week's a little bit fruity. So can we please... No, I know it doesn't make any sense either. Can we... Here's the thing. I'll ask this when Mark's gone, because he might say something offensive. So can we get... Catherine, can you put pink into the bat signal and get some women phoning up, please? 0344 499 1000. That's what we want. That's what we want, Mark.
OK.
Anything else?
Just good luck to them and teach them guitar, because playing music for children is the most incredible thing to express yourself, and it's not a blokey thing. Music is for everybody, and I think kids should be encouraged with music, drama, arts. The arts are incredible things.
They had a drama. They had a drama teacher go to their school, and they came out and said, "Daddy, we've just done this lesson called drama." And I went, "Boys, the doors are opening for you." My favourite lesson. I was going to do it for GCSE, and I put it down as my options. And then I came in the next term. They said, "We've dropped drama," because they wanted us to learn business studies. Up yours. Drama is where it's at, Mark.
Yeah, and that is something that in our school back in the day, I absolutely loved drama.
Yeah.
I used to get picked on because everyone thought I was a puff. It
was gay. Oh, of course it was gay. I didn't care about any of that. I did not care in the slightest.
I just said to the boys, "Well, I'll give you a kiss. I don't mind."
Yeah, Mark, thank you very much for that. No, I'm very good, my boys. I bought a dead cheap piano. We're lucky we've got a bit of space in our living room. 0344 499 1000. We've got a bit of space in our living room. You can buy pianos for £1. I spent about £100 or something on a piano. We got it all tuned up. So the boys have got a piano and they sit there and I let them hit it. They've got the electric guitar in the other corner of the room. And my eldest said, "Daddy, can I have a go on the electric guitar?" I said, "Boy, you never..." I didn't call him boy. I said, "You never have to ask me. You want to go and play on the electric guitar, you go and play on the electric guitar. You do whatever you want. And if you want to ask me about it, ask me about it. If you just want to sit there and make noise and tap the strings and hit it, you do that. I love it." We got the ukulele. I've got my guitars, which is why I bought them their guitars, because my guitars are a little bit fancy and I don't really want them messing around with that. We got a banjo, we got a bouzouki, we got all these bits and pieces, and it's great to just get them to not be I remember seeing guitars when I was a kid and being terrified of them, absolutely terrified of them, because I thought, these are so expensive, these are awful. And I do get a little bit precious around my guitars. This is why I've got them their guitars, so they can make as much noise, as much fuss. And I have to say, the painting of the guitar, oh man, it is going... I'll tweet... Do you know what? I might tweet a picture of it. I don't really share stuff about my kids online, so I won't share a picture of the boys. Notice I never say their names. But I'll tweet a picture of it, because I'll think about tweeting a picture of it. The work, the effort he's put in, I mean, absolutely concentrating. He was going to paint flames on it, and then he thought that would be a bit too hard. So he's painted on the back of it the most beautiful, proper 60s psychedelic rainbow. It is stunning. Sprayed it with white primer. Got some acrylic paints. Bought a couple of canvases, big canvases for the other lad, so the other lad's got something to paint. Put a load of newspaper down on the kitchen table, and we just sat there painting. And I said, "Do you want any help with it?" He said, "If it's all right with you, Daddy, I'll do it on my own." I went, perfect. It's yours. It's yours. Do with it as you want. What a joy! We've then got to build the flipping thing, but, you know, that'll come at some point, I am sure. Dear listener, it is Monday evening. I tell you what, after 12 it's going to get quite heavy when we speak to Steve Johnson about his murdered brother, Scott Johnson. We'll also have Nicholas Parsons before the end of the show. Oh, and we recorded a cracking interview with Jimmy Tarbuck today. Actual Jimmy Tarbuck. Unbelievable. 0344. We've got no calls lined up. We're not one of those radio stations that lies and says, well, we got hundreds of calls lined up. But I'm going to sit and talk for a bit longer. I'll be honest with you. We have no calls lined up and we've had no women phoning in. It's a little bit bloke heavy. So, you know, let's see if we can shift the balance. You know the score, dear listener. If you're waiting for me to give you a question, to give you a tag, to give you a reason to call in, there's nothing. There's nothing. This show doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. I'm not going to sit here and go, well, we're talking about George Osborne becoming the editor of the London Evening Standard, or we're talking about the fact that Theresa May has now announced when she's going to activate Article. You can call in about those things if you want. Imagine this show is very much like my boy's guitar was on Saturday morning, a blank canvas. He chose to fill his blank canvas with a psychedelic rainbow. What are you going to choose to fill your blank canvas with? 0344 499 1000. Don't forget to tick your radar diaries. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
The radio show for people who know the best part of the day is the night.
Late Night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Oh, yes. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. If you want to give us a call, you're more than welcome to. You know the drill, dear listener. It's not one of those shows where we sit here and tell... I've said all that, so shut up, Ian. Let's go to Julie. Jeez!
Hello, Ian.
What the hell is going on there?
I'm probably the only person in the O2 arena who is listening to Talk Radio.
Hey, flipping it! The O2, live at the O2. It's the Iain Lee show. What the hell is... What are you doing there?
The pink bat signal went, and I thought I have to respond.
Well
I
done.
might be at the O2 watching Drake.
Oh, yeah.
With my teenager.
Hang on a minute. Do you mean Nick Drake, the dead folk singer?
Well, do you know what? It would make an improvement. I wish I was.
Right, okay, first of all, so the O2, I don't know Drake's work. I'm sure it's excellent.
Nor do I.
Can we have a little... Is he singing now?
Yeah, shall I go towards the door? Well, mostly he's been talking, if I'm honest.
What,
he
rapping?
came on at quarter to 10.
Yeah.
No, just talking.
Quarter to 10?
He came on.
He came on at quarter to 10? That's when most acts will be finishing.
Okay, I'm just going into the arena now. I'm going to give you a 30-second blast. Ready?
Pop music has certainly changed a lot since my day.
Did you hear any of that?
Yes, I did. So, what time? How old are you with your daughter?
My daughter is 14 and...
School night?
Well, the thing is that originally I booked for a Saturday and then he cancelled the gig.
I don't like this attitude.
And exactly right. He cancelled the gig and this was the only alternative.
I do not like this gentleman's attitude to tardiness, cancellations, appearing on stage live, not
swearing,
singing.
Lots of swears.
Well,
there's lots of swears, but that's okay.
How much were the tickets, Jill?
Well,
go on.
I've got VIP tickets, and they're 115 quid each.
Oh, that's not bad for VIP tickets. Do you get to meet him for that?
No.
Oh.
They're just good seats and you get to use the Amex VIP lounge.
You get to use the toilet. I thought VIP tickets meant you got to go to, like, the sound check or have a picture taken with them or something.
No.
Oh.
Because, we've had to buy a T-shirt as well. And the long sleeve T-shirt was 40 quid.
Yeah, the merch these days is outrageous.
Yeah.
But you got good seats, though, have you?
Great seats. It's just I love all music, but it's just I just can't. I just don't like it. So I've been sitting with my earphones in, listening to talk radio.
You've been listening to talk radio during Drake.
Yeah.
Flipping heck.
The funny thing was that when you started singing Dawning of the Age of Aquarius...
Don't tell me he was singing it at the same time!
No, but because I had the earphones in, it looked like it was him singing it and doing the movements as you were singing it. So
I cannot. My boys. I've taken my eldest to 3 concerts: the Monkees, Brian Wilson, and the Bare Naked Ladies. I've taken the youngest to the Bare Naked Ladies. We're off to see the Beach Boys in May. We want to go and see Kiss, but it's only on school night, so we can't.
Yeah,
but I can't.
Exactly.
I cannot wait for them to be of an age, 13, 14, 15, and say, "Daddy, can you buy me tickets to whatever the pop sensation is, and can you take me and my friends?" Yes, I will. I cannot wait for those days. What fun!
That's the whole thing is that I love music, and so even though it's not my taste, their love for this music, the atmosphere here is actually amazing.
Yeah.
Even though I don't like the music.
Yeah.
So I'm really pleased for that. But
Julie, stay there. Darren's calling back in again. Darren, what's your beef?
Oh, Ian, man, I can't believe I got straight back to you. Only want to say, can we stop mentioning the other thing?
Well, the thing is, yes, we can.
Ian, please.
Hang on, you've asked me a question, and I'm going to answer it.
Right, sorry, I'll show up.
Yeah, we can, as long as it stops interfering with your phone calls. Your phone call last week was a car crash.
No way, man.
Yes, it was, Darren. Being completely, being completely honest with you, Darren, it was a car crash.
Right, so should we? So the 4 calls I've made, which I know I've made.
I've not got my data. I forgot to bring my logs of all the calls that Darren's made.
Ian, I've no doubt you have, or you haven't, right? So actually, let's do a social experiment. Let's try next week at the same time and a different Darren, yeah?
Okay, and are you going to be less aggressive and less ready to bite my head off?
Ian, whoa, I'm not on here knocking you on Twitter, man.
I'm not nabbing you on Twitter.
Actually love... no, I'm saying I'm not here causing you abuse.
No, but you were quite aggressive. You were quite aggressive this evening, Darren. You were quite aggressive. You were quite aggressive this evening. And your call last week on the day that you had taken cocaine was a car crash, mate. It was embarrassing.
Fair, yeah. So, right, so can we next week at the same time, because I've had alcohol in it.
You've had what?
Drink.
Yep.
Right,
just try and phone me up straight, because I know when people have taken stuff, whether it's booze or drugs or whatever. I know when they've taken stuff, and it's just the people that phone in when they're off their nut on whatever it is, they embarrass themselves, and that's not my. I don't want people to embarrass themselves. You're not even listening.
Well,
I don't want people to embarrass themselves, and you embarrassed yourself last week.
Ian, I was listening there 2 minutes ago. Sorry. No, fair play. It's just if when I go to phone, I phone and I want to talk about something which is relevant to the programme, and then it gets sort of sidelined to my private life.
Well, but if it's your private life, but it's not as if someone sent me an email saying, "Yeah, I think Darren does this." We discussed it last week because I detected it because of your behaviour and your vibes you were sending out, and you admitted it. You could have said no. What are you talking about?
No, mate. I caught this all.
I don't. You're kind of slurring and rambling tonight, Darren.
All I phoned up for was to ask it. Caller before, the person, the switchboard caller, sorry.
What are you talking about? What is the switchboard caller? Don't phone up because you want to. Don't phone up because you want to give messages to me via Kath, or you want to give messages to me via Ed. It's not a flipping PO box number. It's a phoning show. Phone up because you want to talk to me.
Ian, that's most of the times. Every time.
Yeah, but no, you just said you wanted to phone up and talk to my switchboard person, which is my producer, Catherine. It don't work like that.
But you've hit a few nails on the head, right? So will you stop shouting at us, please?
Well, no, because I don't stop phoning up to try and talk to my producer to pass a message on to me. It don't work like that.
Once in what? I've done that once in 6 months?
Don't do it at all.
I've been listening for about 6 months, man.
Don't do it at all.
All right, sorry. Right, fair enough.
I'm getting a weird vibe off you tonight, Darren.
Again? Well,
yes!
It's not because of what you said before.
I didn't say it I'm not saying that now. I'm not mentioning it. You keep mentioning it. I'm saying I am getting a weird vibe off of you, man.
Well, I concur with what you're saying, mate. I don't know what way it's come from, but it happens.
But people only say concur when they're trying to act like they're not drunk. You know, trying to prove that they're sober. They say concur. Just don't phone me drunk or high.
Oh well, Ian, totally right there, mate. Right. Well, will you stop telling us off for now, please?
Hang on a minute? Would you stop phoning me up, telling me how to do my show?
Yeah, you know what to do with it. You just do it like the red button, but.
What?
Obviously you don't.
You're not making any sense, man.
What I mean is you would have hung up. That's what I mean.
And now you're mumbling. What is going on with you, Darren? Talk to me.
What I said there is that Ian, you would have just pressed the red button, i.e. hung up on me.
You haven't got a clue how this works. And now you're mumbling. What is going on with you, Darren?
What?
Talk to me. Be honest with me. What's going on, dude?
I can't do this on the radio, so I can't do this on the radio.
Okay, well, don't say anything you don't want to say, man. But I know there's stuff going on.
Thank you. I know you know.
And do you know how I know?
It's not bad. You know, it's not bad. You know, I'm not.
Darren, you're slurring, mate. You're whispering. You're mumbling. You honestly, listen back to this at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. You're better than this, Darren.
Pardon?
You're better than this.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
I mean it. I mean it from my heart. You are better than this.
Mate, it's been a working project for the last 3 days now with you. Right, thank you. I know you do.
Okay. All right, brother. Well, you take it easy, yeah?
And you.
Thank you very much indeed. So when people start quoting the Jim will Fix It theme, it's time to move on. Julie! Go and enjoy Drake.
Ian, I've just got one thing to say.
Yes?
You know what I think about that?
Go on.
I concur.
Thank you very much indeed. I concur. I conquer the world. There was a feisty, and I'm going to say it, spunky first hour. Not in that sense, in that sense. Another 2 hours to go. After midnight, we're going to speak to Steve Johnson. Honestly, incredible story, incredible storyteller, and every word of it is true. Before 1 o'clock as well, Nicholas Parsons. Likewise, incredible stories, incredible storyteller. But it does mean we have another hour, dear listener, of your phone calls about whatever. Do you know what I was going to I was going to come in and just go and do a completely different show tonight and go through the stories in the papers. But the phones have been pretty full on. If you want to give me a call, you'd be more than welcome to. We may even get another little tune after 11 o'clock. Who knows? I'm in the mood. I've listened to 4 different versions of the Hair soundtrack in the last 5 days. Honestly, the German version's just arrived. Oh, the German version has just arrived. Oh, beautiful. I'm loving it. If you want to give me a call, you'd be very, very welcome. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. No Periscope tonight, guys. It's a radio show. Close your eyes, make up the pictures in your head. We'll have a look through the papers in a bit, but if you want to chip in with anything, you're very, very welcome. The way it works is you phone up. You'll speak to Catherine, my producer, or Ed, the tech op on this show. He produces James Well. They'll take your name and number. They'll give you a call back. It's as simple as that. You can call in about anything, even to tell me it's crap. 0344 499 1000. Don't forget to take your Radio Diaries. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late Night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
We've all got loves in our lives that we've lost, and we just can't seem to find them again. Where are they? Well, I've got a story I want to tell you, and it goes like this. I met a boy called Frank Mills on September 12th, right here in front of the Waverley. But no, she's putting me off. I don't want her singing in the background. Hang on a second. No, it's fine. Hang on a minute. Well, yeah, we go. I do apologise, dear listener. I do apologise. Now, where were we? Ah, yes. I was telling you that we all have loves lost that we'd like to conquer again. I'm no different from you. I know I'm a celebrity, but I've been hurt, and here's my story. I met a boy called Frank Mills on September 12th, right here in front of the Waverley. But unfortunately, I lost his address. You see, he was last seen with his friend, a drummer. He resembles George Harrison of the Beatles, but he wears his hair tied in a small bow at the back. And here's the thing, right? I love him, but it embarrasses me to walk down the street with him. He lives in Brooklyn somewhere and wears this white crash helmet. He has gold chains on his leather jacket, and on the back are written the names Mary and Mom and Hell's Angels. I would gratefully appreciate it if you see him. Tell him I'm in the park with my girlfriend, and please tell him Angela and I don't want the $2 back. Just him. And then I'd have to go and have a sit down for 20 minutes. That's why I can't be in Hair the Musical. I'm very well qualified. I just cannot. Oi, whoa, hey. Bit late on the applause. I just cannot sing a song and then do anything of any use afterwards. Right. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. If you want to give us a call, you're more than welcome to. What's this? I don't know this song, so I cannot sing it, which is a shame. I could do a concert. I'm thinking of doing a pop concert. But like I'd have to have literally 10 minutes sit down between every single like Drake. Maybe that's what Drake's problem is. Maybe Drake's got the same thing I've got, where he's bloody good, But I give so much of myself in my singing performances. I'm absolutely shagged afterwards. I am shagged. Maybe I do give too much. Maybe I do, Catherine. Maybe I do give too much. And that is both a curse and a blessing. 0344 499 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Now's a good time to call. Why? Because we ain't got no calls. That's why. And two, because from midnight, we probably won't have much time for calls. As we're going to be talking to Steve Johnson. You probably don't know the name, but boy, oh boy, it's an incredible story. And then we're going to be talking to Nicholas Parsons. You know that name, guys. You know that name. Let's have a little look in the newspapers, shall we? Chuck Berry's dead. Chuck Berry's dead. That's sad. Here we go. Oh, where is it? Hang on a minute. Here we go. This is a great headline. I don't know why this isn't a bigger story. It's page 21 of the Mirror if you want to read along at home, to quote Catherine Boyle there. And it's it's like a little paragraph. It's 4 little paragraphs. And this is a great story. I don't know why this isn't front page news. It's a brilliant headline. What a waste of a headline on a tiny little story that I'm the only person that's read this. Daily Grinder of Parliament. The Daily Grinder of Parliament. Shall we continue? This is a great story. I've taken to having the studio very, very dark. All the lights off apart from a lava lamp. The problem with it is it means I can't read anything. That's the one, but come a little bit closer. What is it? What is in a lava lamp? Obviously it's not lava, is it? Is it? I don't know. Is it plastic? We made a lava lamp out of vegetable oil, and food colouring and water and Alka-Seltzer. It's not the best lava lamp in the world. But what is it? It's so hypnotic. It's wonderful. Anyway, Houses of Parliament internet users, right, tried to access gay dating site. Oh, is it gay, is it? I did not know that. Grindr 272,000 times in a month. Boom! This is a great story. Employees are banned from accessing the data page and explicit sites, but MPs, lords, and their staff, oh, blimey, isn't that a blast from the past, still tried to view them. I think that's brilliant. And I've not got... and I'm not saying this because I want to go, isn't it disgusting? Not at all. I think it's brilliant. Why not? Why not? You do. You do. More than 1,000 attempts were made to check out dating site Tinder. So that's 272,000 for Grindr versus 1,000 for Tinder. Said data from a Freedom of Information request. Other sites... Oh, I'm just reminded. Catherine, get on Ed's microphone for a minute, please. Because where we used to work at BBC local station, there was a brilliant presenter on called Jonathan Vernon Smith. Absolutely brilliant. I loved him. We kind of fell out towards the end, which was a little bit sad. But I think he's brilliant. And he would do this hour, the consumer hour.
Oh,
you know where I'm going. He would do the consumer hour. And people would phone in and say, oh, I got a coach, but it dropped me off 5 miles early. Or I bought this Hoover and I got it second-hand from an internet auction site, but it doesn't work. And can I go? Or I bought this car. And so it was that kind of stuff, right? And then there was a fella that phoned up who'd been let down by a dating site.
Well, he didn't realise that it was such a thing, did he?
What was... And he gave... And Jonathan said... What's the name of the dating site? What was the name, Catherine?
Localsluts.com.
What was his beef with it? They weren't local.
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't a dating site. It was something dirtier.
But the thing is, this conversation went on for about 10 minutes with it going. He was disappointed with it. It was a brilliant punchline.
Yeah, these women wanted paying.
Yeah. And John said, so then, okay, well, I think we can deal with this. Tim, we can deal with it. We'll deal with this. Just, can you give us the name of this dating site, please, caller?
Localsluts.com.
And we were listening upstairs. All of upstairs went silent. The studio, literally, there was like minute silence as everyone was trying to. I was one. What will you expect from a site like that?
Well, some people very innocent. that was one of my top 2 favourite consumer problems. There was another one I'll never forget, and it's wicked.
Yeah.
You must forgive me
Go
for
on.
laughing at this.
Yeah.
Well, there was a woman who went on a holiday to Cuba, and she had the dolphin experience.
Oh.
Do you remember this one?
Vaguely, yeah. I know where this is
During
going.
the dolphin experience, she was encouraged to go up against the side of the pool
Yeah.
while while the dolphin simulated making love to her.
Yeah, she was...
Crushed her pelvis.
Yeah. Can you see, using our contacts, and dear listener, maybe you have this, if anyone's got the clip of localsluts.com, if anyone's got our delivery has not done it justice. It was one of the golden, that should have won a Sony or a Gillard. This is why I love radio. For moments like that, you couldn't script that. Leslie, do you remember that? You used to listen to the old place, didn't you?
Remember what?
What me and Kath were just talking about? You weren't listening?
Vaguely.
Localsluts.com.
No, I can't remember. Probably I was in bed at the time because, as you know, I work night.
Okay, that would explain it. Good evening, Leslie. What have
Hello,
you got?
Good evening, Ian.
Good evening. What happened, Leslie?
I'm still here.
I know. I'm just
working nights as usual.
Good lad.
Down in Milton Keynes as usual.
Somebody's got to do it, Leslie, and luckily for me, it's you.
What? I know. Someone has to pay the bloody tax.
Well, yeah. Well, I pay tax. I don't lump me in with Jimmy Carr and that lot. I pay tax. Pay a load of tax, me, and I'm proud to do it.
What I found about Ian, you know the crisis in Africa.
Sorry? Suddenly, me playing the karaoke version of Cool for Cats suddenly sounds incredibly inappropriate. Let me just pause this. There we go. The situation in Africa, yeah, front page of the Daily Mirror, new African famine crisis, yes.
Yeah. This is my view on it, right?
Go on. Oh, dear.
I'm not happy of giving donation to man-made problem like that.
You're
right?
not happy giving money to starving children. Okay, Leslie, why is that?
No, not starving children. Well, man-made
starving children
situation, because that is man-made.
Okay, so you're not happy giving money to man-made starving children. Tell me why.
Yeah, why? Because this thing forever going on.
Yeah,
right? You solve one problem, and a few years later, another one pop up, right?
Yep.
Right? Then, right?
Yeah.
Right? You solve this problem with these kids, right?
Yeah.
In 20 years' time.
Yeah.
In 20 years' time.
Hang on a minute. This is isn't this because of that Somalia's having the worst drought they've had in about 70 years?
No, it's not. You've been wrongly informed.
It's not rained in Somalia for 3 years.
No. That's not one of the problems. One of the problems is war, right?
Hang on a minute. Let me just read. Hang on a minute, because I'm getting up to speed with this story. This is in the Daily Mirror. Her mournful cry was so faint, tiny. So it's about a baby dying, which is good. Born at the epicenter of the worst Somalian drought since 1950, it's not rained for 3 years. They've battled starvation. The drought-stricken Somalia, malnutrition, babies, and so. Which part of that drought in Somalia was man-made, Leslie?
I explain, right? There were one country and then they break away, right? Right? One country was Muslim, they break away. Now one is Muslim, one is Christian, right? The breakaway country was the Muslim, and discover now that the Christian side of I think it was Somalia, right? The Christian side have found oil.
They found oil.
Right?
Yes.
And that's what, and then the Muslim side said, we want some of that. And the Christian side said, no, you're not having any of it. Right? You break away. Right? And that's where the war started. Right? No.
It doesn't mention war anywhere in this article. It mentions drought and starving babies.
No, it wouldn't.
Maybe it doesn't, Leslie, because, I don't know, maybe it's got nothing to do with it.
Right? Yes, it has got, right? No. You just mentioned were jailed for 3 years, right?
Yes.
Right? For heaven's sake, you have got a country, right? You have got a country to govern. What would you do if this country had that similar problem, right?
We don't live in the desert.
No. I understand there are water in the desert. There are water underneath the ground.
It hasn't rained for 3 years. The water table
There
sinks
are water
pretty low.
underneath the ground.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but how does that water get there?
Right, by your
rain.
country, you must create things, right? You must create things.
Leslie, they ain't got no money. They ain't got the money to create things.
But they got money to fight wars.
Well, it doesn't mention war in this story.
Well, that's
it's
how I
talking
know.
about
I'm not reading news. I'm not reading newspaper propaganda, I'm afraid.
Well, you're not buying into that fake news nonsense, are you, Leslie?
No, I am not.
Well, then read some newspapers and get an informed opinion from reading them, not just going onto YouTube and looking at documentaries on there.
I don't go on YouTube. This is something that.
Where did you get all of
last year? Sometimes.
Where did you get all of this?
What's it all about?
Gosh, you're so angry that babies are dying, but you're not angry for the right reasons. You're angry because you don't want to help them.
No, these babies, 20 years time and 25 years time.
They'll still be dead. They'll still be dead in 20 years' time, Leslie.
You help these babies 20 and 25 years' time. They will be the general. They will be the next
They won't because they're dying.
But what about those that you rescued? They will be the next warmonger. They will be the next general.
Right.
Right? We've seen it time and time and time and time. It's a never-ending story.
Right.
I'm fed up with it.
Right. Well, thank you. Right. Thank you for that, Leslie. You've encouraged me. I'm just gone onto the UNICEF website. I'm donating 36 quid. So, and I'm going to say that it's coming from you.
No, don't say that.
No, I'm saying it. I'm saying it's coming. I'm putting first name, Leslie.
Because the next war, I'll be guilty.
Yeah, I'm donating 30. Oh, I swear to you, I'm doing this. I'm donating 36 quid, and I'm saying it's coming from you, Leslie.
And then I'll be guilty on the next generation.
No, you won't be guilty. You'll be good because you are How can you judge babies, right, that are dying on what they might do in 25 years' time?
It may sound extreme, but in reality,
it's not reality. They're babies. You don't know what they're going to be doing in 25 years' time.
If we want to stop future war, we need to stop donating.
So, hang on. If we want to stop a future war, we've got to kill babies. That's what you're saying. If you want to stop... You're talking about genocide. You want to wipe out all of the Somalians. Leslie?
Hello?
Yeah. You're talking about genocide. You want to wipe out all of the Somalians. Leslie?
I don't want to wipe out all the Somalians, but... in order to stop the war, we got to stop donating. Right?
I'm donating 36 quid. I'm doing it now. Thanks for drawing my attention to it. UNICEF, stop the famine in Somalia. 36 quid. Boom. And it's gift aid, so they get more money. Thank you, Leslie. And it's under your name. Literally, I've just done it. Donation complete. Beautiful. It's under your name, Les.
And then I'll be guilty then.
You're not guilty. Guilty of what?
Years later,
Saving.
25 years later,
but Leslie, you can't judge a baby on what they may or may not be doing in 25 years' time. They're babies.
2007, right? 2017, 2016, right? Right? 25 years ago, these were the same people you saved, Ian, from dying.
Yeah, good. I want to save some more. I'd like to save some more. And thanks to you, Leslie, I've just donated 36 quid. It's not a lot. But off the top of my head, I'm comfortable donating that. I can afford that. Boom, it's gone.
And you'll be guilty.
No, how can you say someone is guilty of saving a baby's life? Why do you hate babies, Leslie?
These are man-made situations.
Babies are, yes.
Disaster. They are man-made.
But Leslie,
not natural disaster.
Leslie, here's my advice. I had a revelation last night at the power of radio. Right? And I'm going to tell you a story. Last night, right? I had a revelation at the power of radio and partly why this country and indeed this world is in such a miserable state, and how me and Kath and Ed are doing something ever so slightly different. And if more people were doing what we were doing, the world would be a better place. Let me tell you why.
Love it to me.
Let me tell you why, Leslie, right?
Go on.
You listen to LBC a lot, don't you?
Yes,
right.
Sometimes.
Yeah. LBC and most other radio stations and most other radio shows really try and scare their listeners. They get loads and loads of...
know.
Leslie,
I know.
Leslie, let me finish, right? Because this is an important point. This is genuinely an important point, where last week I was asking, what am I? Last night I had a little glimpse at what I could be, right? So, LBC, it thrives, it makes money on scaring people, right? And telling people to hate, right? And telling people to be afraid of foreigners and afraid of asylum seekers and all this. It breeds fear, right? And I've been thinking for ages, am I a lone voice doing this show? Am I achieving anything? And last night I got it. And I tell you where I got it. I got it in the most ridiculous place, right? And I'm sure this gentleman will not mind me telling this story. I've started going to the gym again, right? It's the second. I went last night. I managed to get into an abs class at the last minute, right? So I dashed down there. And I was stood waiting to go in the class, and there was a big lad on a running machine, right? And he was staring at me. This big lad was staring at me, and I thought, uh-oh, it's trouble. When I say big, I mean he was overweight, right? Staring at me. I thought, oh, God, stop staring at me. No, this is important, right? And he was staring at me for about 10 minutes while I was waiting for the class. And he finished, and he walked over to me. I was thinking, oh, please don't come and talk to me. And he came over and he went, are you Iain Lee? I said, yeah. He said, I'm a big fan. I listen to your radio show. I thought, oh, brilliant. He was a nice lad. And he said, my name is Harsh. And I recognised him, actually, because he tweeted me a few times. And he said, I really enjoy your radio show. This is my first time at the gym for a long time. And the reason I've come to the gym is because you were talking about getting back and going to the gym. And he said, you inspired me. In a throwaway conversation I had with Kath on air, he said, you've inspired me to get back to the gym and try and work off some of this weight. And it hit me then, Leslie. It hit me then, right? People are what they hear. People are what they hear. And I was reminded of all the times I've been out doing shows and stuff, and men primarily, have come up to me and said, you talking about male depression and feeling suicidal and feeling lonely. I've had those things. I'm lonely. I've been suicidal, and your show has helped me. And that's never registered before until this lad on Sunday night said, the reason I'm at the gym tonight is because you were talking about the gym and about getting back, and you've inspired me. Now imagine, right, if LBC, instead of 24 hours a day, right, instead of 21 hours a day, was going about, we hate immigrants. We should be scared. They're not asylum seekers. They're economic migrants. We are scared of foreigners. We want our sovereignty back. Imagine if for 21 hours a day, instead of doing that, they were doing, how can we make the world a better place? What can we do to help people who are fleeing from war? Isn't it awful that there are a tiny number of people that abuse our fantastic benefit system? What can we do, even though it's only a fraction, what can we do to stop benefit fraud so that those people that genuinely need benefit aren't stared at as though they are guilty? What can we do to help these starving babies in Africa? I genuinely believe it. I got it last night. If they were broadcasting 21 hours of just a slight twist, instead of the hate, turning down the hate and turning up the love a little bit, if there were more people doing a show like this, where we don't focus on the negativity, we focus on the positivity, Leslie, you would not feel comfortable phoning up a national radio station saying you want babies to die because of what they might do in 20 years' time.
This is my personal view, Ian. right? No one else, my personal view.
I don't believe you.
Sorry.
You've been brainwashed, brother. You've been
No,
brainwashed.
I've not been brainwashed.
Because you don't want babies to die, Leslie. I know you don't. And you're phoning me up telling me we should let a whole generation of babies die because of what they might do in 20 years. Well, supposing in 20 years they become doctors and they save your kids, or they became teachers, or they became pilots, or they became leaders in business. Supposing if we gave them the opportunities to do that and they didn't become generals, they didn't become killers. Supposing we gave them the opportunity. You can't write off babies, Leslie, and there was a period in your life when you would have heard yourself now saying we should let those babies die, and you would have been disgusted with yourself, and you need to try and find that bit of you, Leslie.
Anyway, Ian, that's my personal view.
Thank you very much for calling. 0344 499 1000.
Unmissable late night radio with the original king of unconventional conversation.
Make contact with Ian.
Late night Ian Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
03, thank you, Ed. I'd forgotten. You remembered. Well done. No, that was a test, and you passed it. Excellent. Well done. Thank you. 5 points to me. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. If you want to give us a call, you're more than welcome. Paul's on the line. Good evening, Paul.
Hi, it's the same Paul from you know where. Hello.
Yes, I have no response to that.
I went into Costa Coffee and Final Common on Saturday. You weren't there?
No, I wasn't. That's a bit weird,
Okay.
isn't it? Yeah, no, I was with my children painting a guitar.
That's cool.
Thank
I'll
you.
play guitar.
Well, you're not playing this one.
No, okay. All right, fair enough. Okay, right.
Is Cass, hang on a minute, Ed, can we tell Cass to come down off the roof? She can switch the bat signal off now. We've had enough. Yes, go on, Paul.
I've just listened to that last call. I will be donating tonight £50 to UNICEF.
There we go. Beautiful. You see, and thank you to Leslie for bringing it to our attention. I genuinely, while he was talking, I went online, UNICEF, first one that came up. I've heard of them. I recognise them. I know they're a good charity. 36 quid gift aid. It's not masses. But you know what? It's better than I was going to do. So thank you to Leslie for reminding us that there are starving children and that we have souls and we're allowed to help them.
Can I finish?
Gosh, Paul, wow.
Yeah, you were on a bit of a rant. You were on a bit of a rant a little while ago about believing in that you realise now that you have an actual power.
Yeah,
in the world
I'm guessing
to
you
speak
listen.
the right thing.
I believe you are what you hear, and I'm guessing you listen to a lot of dull radio. Would that be correct?
No, I used to
a lot of rude radio.
No, come on, no, I don't. No,
rude, dull radio.
No.
Okay.
I listen to an online music channel, actually, most of the time. Hello?
That might be why you struggle having conversations with people.
I'm having a conversation with you, aren't I?
Well, yeah, but then every time you stop expecting me to say something, even though you've not given me a question, you get up, you go all weird and go, hello.
Okay, right. Yes, Samana is a problem. We have to help them.
We don't have to.
No, but we should.
We don't.
Everyone Everyone should do their little bit.
No, not if they don't want to. I don't believe in making charity compulsory. If you feel moved by it, if you feel a powerful pull to it, then yes. And if you are able to dip into your pocket, then by all means do. But no, I don't think people should.
Okay, right. I'll say this then. I don't particularly agree with comic relief. Yes. I've just said that.
You're expecting me to be shocked or something?
No, I don't know. I don't know your opinion.
Okay. Well, what do you mean you don't agree with it?
Because I don't particularly agree where the money goes to.
Where does the money go to for comic relief?
It goes all over the world, but I don't particularly think a lot of it actually gets there.
How do you know that? What research have you done?
I just think, from what I do know, and I found out about it, I don't believe the whole money you donate or buy Red Nose actually gets there.
Well, and how you say you found out this information? How did you find it out?
Well, just over the years.
Yeah, go on. How over the years?
Well, it's probably scandal on the internet, I suppose.
You scanned on the internet. What website did you get the information from that most of the money you give to Comic Relief doesn't go to Comic Relief and doesn't go to the charities?
Okay, name me the guy that started up Comic Relief.
You're the one that's moaning about Comic Relief. You tell me. You've obviously come to a reason why you did.
Richard Curtis, yeah?
Right. If you knew the answer, why did you ask?
Because I was asking you if you knew.
Right. Okay. So it's Richard. I do know because I've met him. I did a gig for him for Comic Relief. But go on. Yeah.
Okay. Right. I don't believe everything he does is particularly correct.
Okay. What do you mean, particularly or politically?
Particularly.
What don't you think he does?
But also politically,
okay.
yes.
What do you think he does that isn't particularly politically correct?
The way he kind of contradicts himself with things he does.
For example?
What he writes for and produces.
For example?
He employs.
So, instead of being vague, give me some specifics.
Well, the way he sells out and just his practice.
I don't know what you mean by sell out.
Why has he not been knighted yet, then?
You don't agree with Comic Relief because Richard Curtis hasn't been knighted?
No, I'm asking the question. No.
Well, I've asked you a question.
Why do you think Richard Curtis hasn't been knighted
I've asked you a question 4 times and you've yet to answer it. Can you give me a specific about what you disagree with that he does, politically or particularly?
The things he writes, the way he goes about writing.
For example, you're speaking in vagaries, Paul. I'm asking for specifics. Give me an example.
Okay, some of the things he writes, some of the films he makes.
Give me an example. You don't want to give the money to Comic Relief because of Love Actually and Notting Hill.
He will write and make sitcoms and jokes to do with racist things.
For example, we're narrowing it down. Give me a specific example where Richard Curtis has made a racist joke in a sitcom.
Vicar of Bloody Dibley.
Right, give me that line.
Oh, come on. Don't...
You're telling me you disagree with an entire charity because the guy that founded it and doesn't have that much to do with it anymore did a racist joke in the Vicar of Dibley. I don't believe you. Tell me what it was. You can't remember it because it didn't happen. That's okay. That's fair enough. Let's try again. You said you had evidence that the money didn't go.
No, you're putting words in my mouth. I never said I had evidence.
You said that through your research you discovered that the money didn't go to the causes, and then I asked you for an example of where you heard this, and all you could come up with was Richard Curtis did a racist joke in Vicar of Dibley.
Yeah.
And so that's what makes you think the money doesn't go to the causes.
No, I haven't said that. I said, yes, some of the money will go to the causes, but not the whole money you donate.
Because he did a racist joke in the Vicar of Dibley?
No.
Then why? How do you know this?
Because I'm saying the whole of the money you donate, and you want to donate the whole of the money. The whole of the money doesn't get there.
Paul, guess what? Guess what, brother? That's the same for every single charity.
Okay, I'll give you an example then.
Please, at last.
I've donated the money that all the money did get there.
Go on.
You know, about 18 months ago, there was that trend for asking people to do that ice bucket challenge.
Oh yeah.
Okay, right. And you had to.
What was that raising money for?
It was raising money for charity, mainly to do with a guy that was an American footballer that suffered a certain disease.
What was the disease?
I can't remember.
So you gave money. You're citing an example of a charity where all the money goes to the cause, and you don't even know what the disease was.
No, you haven't let me finish. Instead of doing the ice bucket challenge,
yes,
I decided that it was just a waste of water. So I donated money to WaterAid.
Right.
Okay, and the whole of that money did go to WaterAid. There you go.
What does WaterAid do?
Provides water that we were talking about for places like Somalia.
Right, that's what they do, is it?
Well, that's one of the things they do.
Yeah.
I know that the whole money gets there.
No, it doesn't.
Go on, then you give me facts then that you know that.
Okay.
Go on, Google it quick.
Yeah, I'm Googling it. I'm Googling it, Paul, because guess what? I don't know that...
You've had to Google it, but you've already stated that you know it's a fact, but you've had to Google it.
No, because it's up on my screen, and I can see already that with one quick Google search while I'm talking to a prune shows me that it doesn't. This is from 2012. No, hang on a minute. It doesn't... Do they have a CEO?
You're having to research it when you said to me already.
Paul, because guess what? I don't have the stats on WaterAid like you. At least I'm trying to answer you, unlike you, who completely fudged around the whole comic relief. You don't support comic relief because there was a racist joke in The Vicar of Dibley. And you heard something that some of the money might not be going to the charities. Does WaterAid have a CEO?
Yes.
Right. So then you've answered the question. Not all of the money goes to wherever it's supposed to go because the CEO, guess what? Takes a salary.
What's the CEO name of WaterAid then?
I don't know. You've just told me they have a CEO.
I'll tell you. Richard Branson.
Right.
And he doesn't take any money.
Well, you've shot me down in flames there. Then that has to be said.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay. So you only give. Hang on a second. Catherine's doing more research for me. You see, Catherine.
Well, as far as I can see, the chief executive of WaterAid is Barbara Frost.
Oh, Paul, would you like to kiss it now?
She's about to retire after 11 wonderful years.
Can we find out her salary, please?
Yep.
Paul.
Yes. Go on. You're googling.
Yeah, googling, mate. What? You, as though that you've got a problem with that. I don't have all of the information at my fingertips, but I know that charities, and I know because I was listening to a radio show about it just 2 days ago, charities have CEOs who take salaries, who take very, very handsome salaries. And then they have to spend...
I'm telling you, I know the old CEO.
Then they have to spend their money. And when did you make this? When did you make this donation to WaterAid?
Around 18 months ago, at the time of the trend, I told you of doing that ice bucket challenge.
And because you thought it was a waste, Catherine?
About 130,000.
She takes the CEO of WaterAid takes 130,000. Can you find out if and when Richard Branson was the CEO of WaterAid? So, Paul, that shot you down in flames.
Yes, that I find disgusting.
Why is it disgusting? Hang on, Catherine. I can't hear you.
Barbara has been the CEO for 11 years.
Wow, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
And yet you thought Richard Branson was the CEO 18 months ago and he didn't take a salary. Where did you get that information from? Catherine found it Googling it in 2 minutes.
Did I say Richard Branson was the CEO for the last 11 years?
No. You said 18 months ago.
I said I donated 18 months ago.
Because the CEO was Richard Branson and he takes no money, Paul. She's been the CEO for 11 years and she rightfully, and I have not got a problem with the heads of charities taking a big thing, because you know that if she went and worked out in the business sector, she'd be getting 3 or 4 times that amount of salary, and she has taken a pay cut so she can be the CEO of a charity. So I have no problem with the heads of charities taking over 100 grand. I have no problem at all. Paul, no charity...
So you're telling me she's taking a pay cut and getting paid 130 grand a year?
Yes, mate, because if she went out into the business world, she could probably get 3 or 4 times that.
Well, you've educated me. I just find it disgusting.
Well, Paul, you're an idiot.
No, I'm not an idiot.
No, you are an idiot. You're an idiot. The reason you don't like comic relief is because the bloke that started it once did a racist joke in The Vicar of Dibley. You donated to a charity because you thought the CEO was Richard Branson, who doesn't take a salary. Well, for the last 11 years, we found out it's this woman who takes £130,000 a year. You're an idiot.
No, I'm not.
You're a blithering idiot. You haven't got a clue about anything.
No, I've got a clue.
No, you haven't, Paul. You've literally, in the last 10 minutes, you have literally proved that you haven't got a clue about anything you've called in to talk about.
Okay, so did you do the ice bucket challenge?
No, mate, because I thought it was stupid. I thought it was
stupid. A waste of water, yeah?
No, not because I thought it was a waste of water. I thought it was stupid.
And a waste of water.
No, that's not why I didn't do it. I did it because I thought it was stupid. I couldn't give us... I waste water. We've got a hose, and I chase the boys around the garden with a hose. We waste water.
Okay, when you brush your teeth in the morning, do you...
Why are we talking about wasting water? What has that got to do with charities?
Because I'm just making a point.
You're clutching at straws. You're clutching at straws. You're clutching at straws.
Wouldn't think of, Paul. That wouldn't think of if they were doing that.
You are clutching at straws, Paul. If I were you, I'd put the phone down and I'd go to bed.
I'm a good person.
You've embarrassed yourself.
Right, I will leave you with this then. I might be an alcoholic, but I'm also asthmatic. I constantly reach for my Bacardi breather.
What am I supposed to do with that? Laugh? Because it ain't funny, and after the conversation we've just had, it's plain offensive.
Why is that offensive?
Because we've just been talking about starving babies, and you're making a piss-poor joke.
Yeah, okay. Fine. I'm going to go back to flipping. I'm going to go back.
They don't want you on TalkSport. Cundy and Goldstein told me that they got the production guy to tell you to call me because they were sick and tired of you. They told me that they don't want you there, and now I know why.
I'm just trying to start a revolution from my bed because the brains they said went to my head.
Stop it! Put the phone down. You're embarrassing yourself, man.
Yeah,
you're quoting Oasis lyrics to me.
Because maybe I speak the truth and they did.
You've spoken nothing but gobbledygook.
In your opinion?
Mate! The reason you don't like Comic Relief is because you seem to remember, incorrectly I vouch, that Richard Curtis made a racist joke in The Vicar of Dibley. That is stupid.
Well, I get Lenny Henry to snog Hugh Grant then live on Comic Relief.
What are you talking about?
Okay, good night.
03444991000 Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late Night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
I was going to play a song, but it just doesn't seem... loads of you have sent me this link, and this was the first link I found when I Googled WaterAid. But I didn't want to trust it because it was the first one, and so I wasn't sure. And I was scanning it. But this seems to tally up. WaterAid say that for every £1 the charity received, 78 pence was spent on delivering services, 21 pence was spent on raising funds, and 1 pence was spent on governance. And that sounds fair enough. I heard a brilliant thing. There's a brilliant show on Radio 4 called The TED Radio Hour. And you know the TED Talks, it's kind of like the best bits of TED Talks, and then they follow up the speakers a little bit and have a chat. And there was a guy on there, and it was brilliant, who was... So I'm losing my voice after shouting to an idiot. This guy was saying that charities, we get really angry when we hear that the CEO of a charity is earning £150,000, and you think how many books that could buy, or how much food, or how many malaria injections that could buy. And he said, no. We should be paying them more. And we should be spending more on advertising, right? Because those CEOs get paid that much money because they know how to generate money, right? And if they left that company, but he gave an example, right? Head of a charity earns £200,000. In the business world, if they were a bank or whatever, they could probably earn about £450,000. He was talking in dollars, $450,000. That banker could give $100,000 worth of his money to charity, which he could then write that off as a tax write-off, and still be earning more than the CEO of the thing. He said it's great that we pay heads of charities money, a lot of money. We should pay them more. And we should spend more money on advertising. Charities should advertise as though they were Heinz, as though they were Fairy Liquid, as though they were, you think of any brand that you know. You go into Tesco, oh, Fairy Liquid. You go into Tesco, oh, Ariel. You go into Tesco, and you know what you're going to buy because of the advertising. And he said that if charities spent that much money on advertising so that WaterAid became a brand in our head, we'd invest more money. They would reap the rewards of it. They would reap the rewards. And he had been the head of a charity, and he'd done that. He'd been the head of a charity years ago, and He spent millions of dollars. This is when everything, all the brochures were done in black and white. And he spent like tens of millions of dollars getting the brochure printed in colour, like a high quality colour brochure. I think it was an AIDS charity, but I could be wrong. And he spent something like $20 million, and that brochure made them $250 million. Because it was noticeable, because people could see it and they could interact with it and go, oh, wow, this looks like a good product I want to be involved in. There's no shame. There's no shame in making our charities a product. You know, a product. Because that's what they are. They are, if we treated them like businesses and not like charities, you get all these things. And Ferrari does this, and maybe I bought into it for a bit, but the head of, I'm making up a thing, so I don't know if this is true. So I'm not, the head of Oxfam gets paid £200,000 a year. That's disgusting. The head of, I don't know what they get paid. The head of WaterAid gets paid £180,000. That's more than the Prime Minister earns. So what? So what? That's more than the Prime Minister earns. That's, with all of that, you could pay for 20 nurses a year. So what? So what? They're getting 180 grand a year because they're going to generate millions because they've got good business sense. Well, you're going to pay them. We're going to pay them 40 grand a year. Who are you going to get? Who are you going to get for 40 grand a year? You're going to get someone who isn't very good at business. You want the best business brains running these charities. And then you get idiots like that saying, well, yeah, I don't like comic relief because, well, Richard Curtis did a racist joke. Why has he not been knighted? I'm suspicious. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? It's incredible. Dennis. Good evening, Dennis.
Good evening. You were very rude to that gentleman.
No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't.
You know what prunes do to you, don't you?
Well, I suppose in that respect I was rude. Yes, I like a good fig, a fresh fig plucked from a tree.
That's right, but it still give you the same effect, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Who was it? Which king was it? And I know this because I was watching Horrible Histories. Which king died? It was died because they ate too much fruit. It was Edward. Was it an Edward the First? It was the first. It was one of the firsts. It was Edward the First. He died because he ate too much fruit.
Yeah. And that cleared him out.
Well, it cleared him out. It wiped him out.
Yeah.
Edward the First. Am I right? Henry the First. Henry the First. Okay, it was Henry the First. I knew it was a first.
They used a red hot poker to clear him out, wasn't it?
No. Which was the one? There was one that died by going on the lavvy. And there was someone hiding in the lavvy, and they stabbed him up the bum with a dagger. Henry the Third.
There was one where they said they would leave no scars on his body, kill him with no scars. Well, they didn't because they ran the red hot
poker. Yeah. Well, of course, that is it wasn't a poker, but that's what they did to Gaddafi. Of course, that's how they killed Gaddafi.
Yeah.
They got the people of Libya got hold of him, and they rammed a tube up his jacksie. I mean, flipping heck.
They got it too, yes.
Yes. How you doing, Dan? Have you seen the new 50 Shades yet?
No, I'm waiting. I'm trying to find out a release date of the disc, and nobody knows.
Oh, the disc the disc will come out for Christmas. I bet it comes out for the Christmas market.
Well,
you'll be long gone by then, buddy.
I've lost out on that.
No, you got to hold out for 50 Shades of Grey. You're gonna die in front of it. You're gonna have a stroke in front of 50 Shades of Grey. That's what's going to happen.
All these people who are having these meetings.
Yes.
Why can't we have a referendum in Britain to get rid of Scotland?
No, we want. Listen, I want Scotland to stay part of the Union, but.
If we did this, that'd shut that other bloody woman up.
No, I like her. I like Nicola Sturgeon. I think she's good.
She's very fishy.
No, if I was and Alex Salmon, and Tony Haddock, if I was a Scot, I would vote to leave the United Kingdom because I would rather stay in Europe.
The sooner we get rid of you, the better.
Thank you, Dennis. I want Scotland to stay part of the United Kingdom, but if I was Scottish and had a vote, I would vote to leave the United Kingdom. Why do we, Let's drag. Why would Scotland want to be dragged into the car crash that's going to be Brexit? They started talking because now it's going to be Article 50 is going to be invoked in 9 days' time or something, and they had all the political experts talking about what it could mean, and it sounds terrifying. We're all screwed. We're all screwed, guys. They might not give us a deal. If they don't give us a deal, we're going to walk away from the table. And then what? Well, then we have to impose 30% tariffs on meat, 25% tariffs on... what? And sorry, what does that mean for me? Well, it means your meat will be 30% more expensive. What? All of it? Yeah. And your cars will be 25% more expensive. What? Cars are going to go up by a quarter? Because of Brexit? No one said that to us before. Yes, they did. They said it all the time. No, they didn't. Yes, they did. But there was a bus. There was a bus. I saw it. There was a bus. Yeah, but they also said everything would be more expensive. Well done, guys. Bye, Scotland. Thanks for sticking with us for 400 odd years, Scotland. But it's time we said goodbye to you, I think. Don't call in now because your time is finished. But do stay tuned because we've got an amazing guest coming on, a bloke called Steve Johnson, who's going to tell an incredible story about his brother Scott. And I'm kind of nervous about this because I want to do Scott and Steve. I want to do them justice because it really is an absolutely remarkable story. So do stay tuned. You're listening to Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
Get an earful of unusual nocturnal emissions with radio's Lord of Misrule, Iain Lee. No relation, thank God.
Unfiltered Night Talk with the original king of unconventional conversation. Late Night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Well, we were going to play the Nicholas Parsons interview tonight, but do you know what? I don't think we will do it tonight. I think we might play it later in the week. I say we recorded a cracking interview with Jimmy Tarbuck, and on Wednesday we've got Joe McGrath coming into the studio, hopefully. Joe McGrath directed The Magic Christian, Casino Royale, the first one, was a good friend with Peter Sellers, and he's going to come in and share some of his stories, hopefully. We're working on that. He's quite elderly. But fingers crossed, we're going to have Joe McGrath in the studio on Wednesday, which would be an absolute delight. This next story, I heard this. I make no bones about it. I heard it on Radio 4 on the brilliant PM programme, and I heard this gentleman speaking to Eddie Mair, and it was a story that I was not familiar with, but boy, oh boy, it moved me as a son, as a brother, as a father. Oh, I just found it the saddest story, and it was told with such dignity, and I hope I do this justice. It's Steve Johnson's on the line. Good evening, good afternoon, Steve. Nice to talk to you.
Hi, Ian. How are you? And you almost moved me to tears just with your introduction.
Well, honestly, I heard you speaking to Eddie Mair, and it blew me away, Steve. Honestly, I just thought it was such an incredible story. I thought you, as a representative of the family, you had such dignity when you told it. And if I ask anything that is inappropriate, please tell me, and we'll move on, because we're talking about the death of your brother. We're talking about Scott Johnson. Just give us a little bit of background about Scott. What was he like, and when he was younger?
So, just a little bit of history. He was 27 when he was found at the bottom of a cliff just outside of Sydney, Australia, in 1988. So it's been almost 30 years. Mm. And he was my younger brother by 2 years. He was a lovely, gentle, brilliant man. He was a mathematician studying in Australia, and he moved there because he had fallen in love with an Australian man. And a couple of years after he moved to Australia, he was killed in Manly, just a beach town in northern Sydney.
And if I remember correctly from the interview, you're both, I know you work in computers now, but you were both kind of, quite excited by the developing computer technology in the 80s.
Yeah, we were both pretty nerdly.
Good.
And if Scott had survived a couple more years, he would have encountered the internet. And the 90s was a great time to be a nerd. I ended up starting a company, a technology company in the 90s. I ended up inventing a compression algorithm that made streaming media possible back in the early 90s.
Wow.
And Scott and I collaborated on all kinds of things in the 80s, but we were still graduate students, so he died when he was young. So unfortunately, he missed the 90s.
I'm looking at a picture for Scott on the Justice for Scott Johnson page. Beautiful young man. What happened, Steve? What happened on that night in December 1988?
So I got a call in the States that his body had been found at the bottom of a cliff. And I flew to Australia, and the police at the Manly Police Department told me that this was a common place for suicides, and they wanted to know if I knew my brother was homosexual, as if that should explain why he would have gone there to commit suicide. And I didn't believe it was suicide. I was staying with Scott's professor when I was there, and his professor had just had a conversation with Scott the day he disappeared. And Scott had just put the finishing touches on the last problem for his math PhD. And so it seemed like a day for Scott to be out celebrating, not contemplating suicide. And I didn't discover until almost 20 years later that what the police didn't tell me was that this was a very popular gay beat. Back in the 80s, there were parks and areas in Sydney, all over town actually, dozens and dozens of them, places that gay men would go to meet other gay men, usually anonymously, for companionship or sex. And this is one of them, where Scott died was a gay beat. And it was a popular beat, had been for years, and so it was pretty likely that the police knew that's what it was. What I learned 20 years later, in 2005, there was an inquest over in Bondi where there were 3 deaths of gay men in the same period of time, 88 and 89, that the police called suicides.
In the same spot?
No, over in Bondi.
Right, okay.
So similar cliffs, but just over on the southern side. And an enterprising, brilliant cop named Steve Page took some letters that one of the mothers of the victims had written to heart, and he started investigating and realized that there were gangs of young men who went to these beats and would beat up and sometimes kill the men that they'd find there. And so there was an inquest that determined that these 3 deaths that the police had called suicides were homicides. They were murders, probably perpetrated by these gangs. So when I learned that, I immediately, the news came to me here in Boston, and I immediately thought, this must be what happened to Scott. And I took it to the police. They ignored me in 2005. I hired an investigative journalist in 2007 who looked at court documents, found 4 or 5 gangs in the Manly area, in the Northern Beaches area, that preyed on gay men that had been arrested for assaulting gay men. And so the violence was there. It was a gay beat. It seemed almost certainly that Scott had been killed this way. And the police have assiduously been keeping a lid on the case until finally a coroner in 2013 took an interest in the case and asked the police to take a closer look at it, and then the case got reopened.
Why do you think the police were so keen to put this and the other deaths down as a suicide and not investigate the possibility that this might be murder?
Well, I wish I knew. I think that the first impulse is to think that the police were doing this in a lot of cases where gay men had been killed, just sweeping them under the rug and moving on. So it appeared pretty systematically that they just didn't want to spend the time working on cases involving gay men.
Just because they were gay?
That's incredibly likely, unfortunately.
Wow.
And to look families in the eye and tell them, sorry about your son or sorry about your brother, but he jumped off the cliff or we just don't know what happened, and refused to investigate. In Scott's case, there was zero investigation until 2013, when the coroner finally pushed the police to start investigating. And that was the case with many families. A lot of times the police would even prey on the family's own sense of guilt. A lot of times the families didn't know their son or brother was gay, and they'd go away feeling guilty that maybe they just didn't understand their son or brother. So it was easy for the police to get away with this.
What made the coroner get so interested in 2013? What new evidence was presented?
Well, we kept on with our investigation, and just the cumulative volume of court documents and statements that we got from people that lived in the Northern Beaches area, gay men who had been assaulted. We kept bringing that to. We stopped bringing it to the police's attention and started bringing it to the coroner's attention. And in 2013, the case got reopened. And the police still refused to work on it. And what actually motivated the police to work on it was Australian Story, which is a very popular TV program in Australia, did a documentary on Scott's case in 2013. And because of the publicity, the police were compelled to actually form what they call a strike force. So if you...
Go on, Steve. Sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I was just going to say, what? So they got a strike force after being shamed into it. It sounds like by this TV show. What does that actually mean? What does this strike force? Are they actively investigating?
So in 2013, the strike force was formed. They took all of our information, the 50 or 60 persons of interest we had identified, and not all of them were suspects. Many of them were just either victims or witnesses or people who the police should talk to, and they ended up ruling them all out. So they ended up at the end of 2013, no clearer about why Scott died than they started. So the new coroner, Michael Barnes, so he's the state coroner in New South Wales, picked it up in 2014, and his job is to determine the manner of death, determine whether a death was homicide or, in this case, homicide, accident, or suicide. He picked up the police work and decided to have another inquest. So he called for a third inquest, which in Australia had only happened one other time in history. And so that immediately resulted in a lot of publicity. And by the way, one thing I should mention is each time there was publicity about Scott's case, families would come to us and say, hey, the police told us that one case, my brother was a jumper, and he died at a gay beat, it turns out. And there's a total of 30 unsolved homicides, not all of them cliff deaths, but all of them gay men who died at gay beats that the police didn't investigate.
30? Over what kind of area are we talking about? How big a distance?
We're talking about the city of Sydney.
Just in the city of
Manly,
Sydney?
That's right. Manly is a suburb of Sydney, so it's all one area.
30
ferry from the
gay men all died, possibly, looks like suicide, mysterious circumstances. Over what period of time, Steve?
We're talking about about a 10-year period of time, and covering the late 80s and early 90s. And important to keep in mind that it was illegal to be homosexual in New South Wales until 1984.
I didn't know that until today when I knew you were coming on, and I was reading kind of about the history of gay law in Australia, and it was I think the first state to stop being illegal was in 1975, and then the last one was in the 90s, which seems incredible. But 30 young men, or men of various ages, all died, and they were all written off as suicide.
Or written off as question mark. And so one of the reasons we keep persisting, besides feeling like there are certain things that I can't talk about because the inquest is in progress. The inquest will resume in June, and the coroner's office is working on the case. And we do feel like we have a pretty good idea who may have done it. So
how do you know that? Where have you got? Obviously, don't mention any names. But where have you got that information from?
Well, there was a gang that was very active in Manly, and one member of the gang came forward, and that's all I can say. And so we feel like we may solve Scott's case, but one of the things motivating me is that this is helping the other families. So if progress is made in Scott's case, particularly if it ends up getting solved, there will be quite a strong case to be made that these other cases should be reinvestigated.
It's nearly 30 years, just shy of 30 years. And as I say, I'm a brother and I'm a son and I'm a dad. I don't know how I could... I mean, you speak with such dignity, Steve, and such calmness. I don't know how I could deal with that for such a long period of time. How do you and your family keep focused and keep going?
That's always... I always get choked up when I think about that question, and how much I miss my brother, and we were so incredibly close. We were the two who went to college, and we were, as I said before, equally geeky, and we just loved to spend time together. And I missed him when he went to Australia, and I miss him now. I talk about him with my kids. I've got a 28-year-old and a 26-year-old and a 21-year-old, and they love hearing stories about their brilliant uncle. And they're very supportive about my working on this case. It's difficult doing it from the States, from 10,000 miles away, but we're really happy now. The SBS, there was the public television network in Australia funded a documentary and a dramatic series about these cases last year in October. And so Australia has really woken up to the epidemic of gay hate violence. There are a lot of Australians who are leading the charge on this. And so we're very happy we've motivated action. We think the police should be held accountable for ignoring these cases. It's not too late for them to do something positive. We're always hoping that they will. We think the inquest, when it resumes in June, my brother's inquest, will lead to answers that will shine an even brighter light on these cases. So that's what keeps us going.
I'm going to ask a question that may be inappropriate, so if it is, just tell me. You say that you have a name in mind as to who you think might be responsible or linked with these... with the death of Scott and the other deaths. Sorry, I'm getting choked up. I just find this story so heartbreaking. How do you stop yourself emailing that person or finding out where that person lives and knocking on their door or phoning them up? How do you hold back from that, Steve?
Because we now have the coroner's office very motivated to solve the case, and we don't want to do anything that crosses the line.
Yeah.
We've worked very hard. I've been working on the case for the last 10 years. And we're now in a position where we have authorities, we have officials who have the power to really find the evidence, if they're successful in getting confessions. So we don't want to touch it.
Yeah,
we're providing information, but that's all for now.
And the inquest it reopens again in June. Is that correct?
That's right, June 13th.
How will that work? What process will that take? And what form will that take? Sorry, and what could the outcome be?
So that's a good question. The coroner has scheduled 10 days, which is a long inquest, an unusually long inquest because there are lots of people to put on the stand. In Australia, the coroner his job is, as I said before, to ascertain the manner of death to decide whether it's a homicide. But because in the process of questioning all the people that he'll be questioning, including probably the suspects that I'm talking about, it often comes to light who the probable suspect is, and then the police take over and finish the investigation. So that's what we hope the outcome is. We hope the coroner officially calls it a homicide, which has not been done before.
Yeah.
But also, more importantly, ends up producing enough information that the police can actually act on it and solve the case.
And if it doesn't go your way, what do you do then? Have you even considered that as a possibility?
Oh, it's always possible. It's been a long road. We've had setbacks and positive forward motion. We'll deal with that when it happens. We feel like this will produce a positive result. We think we're on to. We think the coroner's team is really on to getting to the answer. So we're very hopeful.
The deaths of 30 men just because they were gay. I mean, that's a very shameful thing for Australia to have in its history. I mean, that's if it's it's the same person or the same group of people. That's serial killing. That's and again, and this as I heard you talking to Eddie Mayer on Radio 4, who's a brilliant interviewer. I thought he put it brilliantly when he asked you, if these had been heterosexual men, do you think we'd be in this position now? And you replied, well, no, of course not. It's simply because they were gay that this has been brushed under the carpet. And I just think it's just the saddest story, Steve. It's just the saddest story. We're on the other side of the world. Is there anything we can do to help?
I think you've done it. I think showing the concern and caring, having me on your program, talking about it, is the best thing. The best thing that the media can do. In fact, it's because of the media attention that we've gotten as far as we have. So this is very important.
And we will put this conversation out as a podcast, and you never know who's going to listen. I wish you and your family, Steve, the very best of luck. I hope you can find peace. The campaign's called Justice for Scott Johnson. I hope you get justice for your brother, and maybe I'll send you an email a little bit later on in the year just to touch base and see how things are going.
That would be great. And for your listeners, there's a Facebook page, the Justice for Scott Johnson Facebook page. Lots of information there. We keep it updated with new developments, and anyone who has insight or questions or information can post it there.
Well, I'm going to, it sounds like an inappropriate phrase, but this is the language of Facebook. I'm going to like that page, and I've already tweeted it, but it's a weird thing to say. I'm going to like that page, but I will do, and I've already tweeted the link, Steve, and I'll tweet it again. Best of luck, man.
Thank you.
Best of luck, and, hopefully we'll speak later in the year and you'll have good news.
Thanks a lot, Ian. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve. Steve Johnson. I got choked up there, man. Jeez. Incredible. I tell you what we'll do. We'll play some ads. Catherine, come in and join me for the end of the show. I don't want any more phone calls for the rest of the show because I don't think it would be, it just doesn't feel right. Do you know what I mean? So me and Kath will have a little chat for the last half hour of the show. Put your phones down. We'll have a little chat. Yeah, you're listening to Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Don't phone in. Look, I'm going to turn off. I'm going to close phone box. So
You put the phone down.
Yeah, don't phone in. It just seems. Oh, actually, you can't. You're going to have to hold up bits of paper with the out times on it because I've turned the phone box off. It just seems. Inappropriate's the wrong word, but it's the only word I can think of after that. Wasn't Steve amazing? I told you it was an incredible story.
Because I hadn't heard that story before.
No.
That poor family.
And I don't think I've ever felt that when I've been doing. I got choked up. I got properly choked up and shivers down my spine when 30 gay men all committed suicide. And when he said 30, we were just saying, I thought he meant like in southern Australia or something. Because I don't know the geography of Australia.
I know Australia's massive, and I
thought... or maybe it was the whole of Australia. No, just in Sydney. What? 30 gay men all committed suicide off of a cliff in one city in a space of about 5 years? Oh, yeah, okay, sure. Just incredible. And you know what I mean about dignity? The dignity of that man.
Because it stinks, doesn't it? It stinks. It sounds to me the police didn't care.
No, because it's queers. It was a bunch of queers. What used to be called queer bashing.
Yeah.
Within
their lifetime, they will have been arresting these blokes.
And it happened in this country as well. Queer bashing. Let's go to some cruising joints or gay beats, as Steve called them, and let's pretend to be gay. One of you pretends to be gay. You start some action, and then your mates jump. You know, that's what used to happen. But this, which is awful. You know, not to say.
Do you know what? I think it still does happen.
Oh no, I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. But this gang would take it a stage further and push them off a cliff. Or force them to jump off it. We don't know. It just doesn't bear thinking about. And, you know, I've got boys, and I'm a son, and I'm a brother, and you just think, geez. And I tell you, and I didn't say this to Steve because I thought it was inappropriate, but when he was telling it on Radio 4, and when he was telling it there, I was imagining what it was like to be his brother in those last 10 seconds of his life.
Terrified.
When he's either forced to or pushed. Terrified. But terrified with we've all been in situations think, I'm going to die. But you know you're probably going to get out and you might just get a kick in. But he's thinking, I'm going to... And he did. You know, the last 10 seconds. And that is what I got choked up about there, is I was just imagining that last 10 seconds of shame and terror and, you know, whatever.
And the thing is, you look at the pictures. You look at the pictures on that Facebook.
Beautiful young man.
And they were a similar age. You know,
beautiful boy in his 20s, and the terror, begging. Don't you know? I had all that going through my head.
Well, I'm sure he's had it going through his head for 30 odd years.
And you just think, you know, something like that happened to my boys. You know, or happened to my sister. You know. Or your sister's committed suicide, and then 30 years later, well, actually, maybe it was a murder. Yeah.
No. But you were right about the dignity and the restraint. My God, when he was talking about how he thinks he knows who did it, but he's holding back
because he wants it to go through the proper legal
and of course
channels.
You do. After all this time, that's what you want.
And I don't think we don't know what we do in that situation. I don't think I could hold it like that. And wait. You know, having a name of someone that killed one of my boys or killed my sister. I don't think I could do that. I'm going to stop putting that image in my head because that's unpleasant. But I don't think I could hold it back. And he's holding it back. And doesn't he speak he's he's doing his brother, he's the ultimate tribute to his brother, because he just tells a hideous, tragic, it's a tragedy. He just tells it in such an incredibly powerful way. I've tweeted it. At Justice for Scott is the Twitter handle. The Facebook page is Justice for Scott. If you type that in, you'll find it. I've tweeted it, and I'll tweet it again tomorrow, because I'm aware that maybe not everyone's listening now. And we'll certainly put that out as a podcast, because it's a story that I think will resonate with a lot of people. It's a story that I think needs telling. And you never know. Australians have moved over here, moved back over. You never know who listens to that, and if that might just ting a little bell. Yeah. You never know. The odds are almost negligible. But you just need one person to go, well, hang on, that rings a bell. Yeah, it's all you need. So, but also, I just think it's an important story that needs to be told. We're going to do a clunky gear change, because that's what we do on the show. We go in, and this seems a spectacularly clunky gear change, but you know what? We're going to do a clunky gear change, because that's how it works here, and you know that. And even though I feel a little bit uncomfortable, we're going to go. Let me find a story that's not too clunky though, because some of them are a little bit. Oh, this is a good one. Here we go. This is a good one. This is not so clunky. Madness on the number 4. The driver on the bus goes, read. Oh. It's a bus driver reading a newspaper while he's driving the bus.
Wow.
Now.
I've seen that, though. Not a bus driver. I've seen it with a van driver.
Well, I've seen a bus driver skinning up a joint. Honestly, he was skinning up a joint. And the thing was, it wasn't... And don't take drugs, guys. Drug users will get this. It wasn't grass. It was hash. Hash, you've got to burn the hash and sprint grass. You just put it in there and really roll it. Hash, you've got to burn it. And he was doing a hash joint while he was driving the bus.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it.
What does he think, that no one went to college? Mind you, there's loads of that going on, right?
Oh,
Walking down the street here. It's like, I know we look like a couple of old squares, but I went to college. I know what it smells like.
Have they made it legal? Because I swear to God, they must have made it legal, because it's everywhere. A bus driver reads the paper at the wheel while ferrying a dozen unsuspecting passengers. The unidentified worker seemed engrossed for more than a minute on a busy road. He was in slow traffic, but got up to around 15 miles per hour at the controls of the number 4 first group single-decker. Passenger Mark Hepton, 42, said, "Oh, flippin' heck, this is near me." The driver stopped reading only for pickups on the Maidenhead to Slough route on Saturday, but resumed once he set off again. Mark of Slough, Berkshire said, all right, I'll do the voice.
Milk.
No, I was going to do a Polish voice.
Why? He's called Mark. Mark what?
Well, I don't know, but Mark can be a Polish name.
Gave a surname, though. Like...
Hepton. It's Polish, isn't it?
No.
Indian?
No.
It was terrifying. I have never seen anything like it. He could have killed or injured everybody on board. Most passengers were further back in the bus. They had no idea what he was doing. I was next to him. He was clearly reading a newspaper. I kept thinking, I should say something, but I wasn't sure what to do. Well, you could have said something.
So he phoned the newspaper.
So he took some pictures. He said the driver put the paper down by his door when he saw in his mirror that Mark was filming him. First group said it did not tolerate such behaviour and was investigating. Bye-bye, bus driver of the number 4. You just lost your job.
But you'll have plenty of time to read the newspaper. So silver linings.
Looking for jobs. You just... I tell you what, what have I written this for? I write all this stuff down and it seems really important.
I was annoying you though, I was like dropping your chair.
Oh, you were annoying me, and I wanted to do a show where we just went in the papers. Oh no, I don't want to talk about him. I thought this was sad. Right, because we sell tickets for shows and we know what it's like. I'll be honest, Manchester, we've only got a 65-seater venue, right? So it's a small thing.
It's way off yet.
We've sold 40 tickets. We've got 25 tickets left. It's slow. I'll be honest, Catherine, I'm disappointed.
Oh, I'm not.
No, I'm disappointed. It's your home. It's going to cost us money.
I've not mentioned to the family I'm going.
We've hired the venue. We're going to have to get a hotel. Cost us money. We're going to lose money on it.
Come on, Manchester.
No, screw 'em. Do you know what? We'll do a really poxy show on Saturday, May the 6th.
No, it'd be brilliant, and then we'll...
No, we'll do a poxy show.
Tell you what we'll do. It'll be brilliant, and then we won't make a podcast out of it, so only the people who came on.
I'm not going to... No. I'm not... When we do the show in Manchester, I'm going to do a poxy show to serve them right for not rallying around.
But the ones that come have...
Yeah, but it's not enough.
Oh.
It's not enough people.
It's their fault, though, is it?
Yes. They should have got friends. They probably haven't got any friends. Our listeners do tend not to... Hey, who was the fella that was coming down from up north to see me do a show this Sunday night? Mark. He's coming to see me do a show in Milton Keynes this Sunday. Yeah, I did it the other week. No, it was the Sunday just gone, yesterday. He was coming down to see me do a show yesterday. Yeah, I did it a week before, mate.
Oh.
And he booked a hotel, tickets.
Well, Milton Keynes is very nice this time of year.
Well, I mean...
They've got shops.
These are my fans, you know. Mark, I'm so sorry, but you're not getting a penny back from me. You're not getting a penny back from me, but these are the kind of people that will be coming to the show in Manchester. Yeah, and do you know what? I don't want them there.
But also, that's the sort of thing you would do. Come on.
Oh, come... When have I ever done that? Get stuffed? I genuinely take offence at that.
Do you?
When have I ever...
You can be a bit hapless at times.
A week late? I'm not a numpty. When have I ever done that?
Let me think.
I've been a week early.
Okay.
I've been a week early.
That was lucky.
Yeah, but that's better than a week late.
Sorry, then I maligned you.
Thank you very much indeed. Break.
Uncut after-hours conversation for the up-all-night generation. Late night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Soz.
No. Say it properly. Let me in the eye and say it properly. What are you sorry for?
Saying you were late when you were early. But...
No.
You were early, though, weren't you, by a week?
Yeah, I was a week early, yeah. I've never been a week late.
Yeah, but you've made a mistake time-wise, which is
not a stupid one that can be rectified.
Well, that was luck, though, wasn't it, rather than judgment?
Mate.
Anyway, I'm sorry about...
You libelled me on air.
Well...
Anyway, there are 24... We've sold 41 out of 60... We can't fill a 65-seater venue in Manchester. I'm tempted to not tell the idiots that have bought tickets that I'm not going, and then not go, and then they can turn up. They can kiss this.
I want to go.
Go! You go and do a show with them. Because there's 24 tickets. That means that we've sold 2/3. A third of tickets have gone unsold. Not bothered, mate. I'm not bothering.
I think they might have trouble understanding you anyway.
They got an etiquette expert on to discuss autistic kids.
Oh, my.
I'll look at that later on. No, I'm not going to bother with the Manchester show. Anyway, this is why I identify...
They like me better anyway.
Well, then you can go up there and do it. Good luck. Good luck doing the show on your own, mate. Ticket sales flop for Katona. Kerry Katona's one-woman show is lurching towards another disaster after she only managed to flog 35 tickets for her opening night. That's less than we've sold in Manchester, so I don't...
How many people were invited to her opening?
Well, let's wonder what the venue is. Have you got your computer?
No.
Well, go and get your computer, bring it back in, to Google where she's playing on her opening night.
Show me yours.
I'm... flipping it! All right, Paul! The troubled star was meant to kick off her tour last year, but was forced to rearrange. I quite like Kerry Katona.
I do.
But was forced to rearrange after being double booked with a gig for band Atomic Kitten. At that point, 42 tickets had been sold.
What am I Googling?
One more than us. Kerry Katona, one-woman show.
Mm-hmm.
But because if it's like she's playing a place in Manchester like we are, well, 35.
Fair enough.
But if it's like the Palladium...
Embarrassing. Yeah, okay.
But now with the evening rescheduled for next month, several people have demanded their money back, meaning only 35 have been shifted. The £20 a time, we're cheaper. We are a lot. How much are our tickets in Manchester?
Cheap.
Cheap as chips, we are. Manchester, let's have a little look at that. Click on that. Click on that. Trying to click on book tickets. 14 quid.
The Melton Theatre.
That's a lot of money.
A special evening with Kerry Katona. The true story.
14 quid for tickets. That's crazy. You'd pay that much. I mean, that's a bargain. It is a bargain, actually.
It's a night out.
Where the Melton... What? Go on. How big is it? How many seats? It's 35. How many will be empty?
Stop being so demanding. It's late.
The £20 a time performance was
The
billed...
Melton Theatre in Melton Mowbray.
...was billed as a no-holds-barred account of Kerry's colourful life, and it expected
Don't
to
we
sell
know it
out
all?
the Melton Theatre in Melton Mowbray, Leicester, which holds 340.
340, yeah.
Yeah. So she sold 10% of the tickets.
Yeah, but when is it?
It's next month. Is it on a weekend? Well, you Google it. Is it on a weekend? Because I'll go. See if we can get free tickets.
Stop it.
Oh, I feel sorry for her, because she keeps trying to get her leg back up. Well, she auditioned to... when Edith Bowman left Rise, she was one of the people that auditioned to be the host of Rise. It went to Kate Lawler in the end. But I'm sure I've interviewed her a couple of times. I always thought Kerry was a lovely, troubled young lady. But the mum of five's lurid tales of how she blew a fortune on booze, drugs and failed relations... Oh, by the way, St Albans, Danny Baker, sorted.
Oh, good.
And failed relationships has not attracted the punter. The news will pile increasing pressure on Kerry, who went bankrupt in 2010 and has hoped to cash in with the 20-date national tour. That's a shame. What does it say about the night? Is it just her talking, or is it like her doing a Q&A, or is it someone hosting it and she's... I mean, I'm going to keep filling until you find the information I asked you to find 10 minutes ago.
You found it yourself.
Yeah, but what is the show?
It's all about her...
Read it. Read it.
I think I'm looking at the same thing.
You don't read the ad for the show, not the news. What is wrong with you, woman?
I'm getting fumigated in here. This is the problem. I can't think.
I'm bathed. I'm bathed.
Well, it's on my hands as well, where I mopped it up. We're talking about Ian's perfume.
Oh, Lane's bought us presents for the Manchester gig. Well, don't worry, Lane. A, I don't like presents from listeners. B, I won't be there.
Here we go. He will.
I'm not going to be there.
Kerry Katona
Go on.
is one of the country's most cherished celebrities stars. Oh dear, it doesn't start well, does it?
Yeah, cherished
celebrities stars is how they've written it.
Okay, well, no, she's cherished. She is a star that is cherished by people like me, celebrities. So that's correct. Apostrophes are on their way out. You don't need them now.
She shot to fame in 1999 as one-third of girl band Atomic
You
Kitten.
Can Make Me Whole Again. It's a great song.
She shot to fame in 1999 as one-third of the girl band Atomic Kitten, who have sold an incredible 8 million records worldwide. She's never been out of the spotlight since, living the whole of her life and relationships under full public scrutiny. I think that might be the trouble. Everyone knows her stuff. Winning over the hearts of the country with her irresistibly captivating personality, she was voted the first Queen of the Jungle. No capital J there. On ITV's I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. As the show's, no apostrophe, most watched series to date, no comma, her triumph in the jungle attracted 11 million viewers. I think I see what the problem might be. As a proven success in the reality TV world, Kerry took a place in Channel 4's Celebrity Big Brother, in which she was crowned runner-up to an audience of over 5 million. As a mother of 5, Kerry, 35, juggles a busy home life and career, but is never out of the limelight. So, you've already said that once.
Yeah.
As her life unfolds on the covers of the national media. Who wrote that?
Keep going on.
That's it.
Okay, because I'm reading about a friend of ours that got an Ofcom.
Oh dear.
Enough long.
Oh dearie, dearie me. So, yeah, I can see where people have booked to sit as well. Not even the first front... Well, two towards the left of the front row. 1, 2, 3... I bet this is family in the middle there, the front row. 3 on the end. Then it's kind of a couple dotted about on the... Oh dear. And then all empty... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 back right at the back of the theatre. Oh dearie me. Embarrassing, that, isn't it? But she's doing a few different dates. This might be just a cunning way of getting some publicity. Have you thought about that? She's doing a salad cream. Ian?
What goes on for pages? On balance. Oh, BBC have accepted it was inappropriate.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Of course they have.
So sorry, who's Kerry Katona?
She's something ungrammatical.
It's a shame. It's a shame, and it's always a punt when you put on a show. You know, this is why...
I think this is a trick, Ian.
What?
I think this is a trick.
Why?
Because she's doing several dates. I think this is just her way of getting some publicity.
Well, go to kerrykatona.com. We're doing publicity by not selling tickets for a show.
She's doing a salad cream. Oh, we're going to have to cancel the show.
You're not going to. When is it?
Everyone in Melton goes.
What date is that on, though?
It's kerrykatona.biz. Oh dear.
No. Go on. What other dates is she playing? I like her. I like
as well,
her.
but I can't believe what I'm reading. This can't be right.
What?
Kerry Katona will bring Marilyn Monroe, the silver screen's most enigmatic screen legend.
I think Zorro is more enigmatic.
And enduring icon, back to life in Norma Jean the Musical, written by Belvedere Pashun, who wrote Wag the Musical, and with original songs from a hit songwriting team including Jay Aston.
Hey, Bucks Fizz, yeah, she's good.
Jeff Cotton.
From the Jeff Cotton group.
Orna Clement.
Yay.
And Tony Bayliss.
Hey.
The first outing for Kerry as Marilyn will be rehearsed reading before an invitation-only industry audience.
They're looking for backers. Well, listen,
22nd.
Here's the thing, right? When we're running out of time, but with people like Kerry, what is she? You know, it's that thing of, you know, she had a pop career and she, you know, got into a bit of trouble and she's had issues.
She's become a reality TV star.
How does she earn a few quid to feed her kids?
Yeah.
You know, and that's a genuine question. How does she earn a few quid? And fair play, she's trying stuff.
Yeah.
She's trying to put on a one-woman show that may or may not work. She's trying to get into musicals that
Didn't
may
they
or
have
may
a
not.
reunion?
They did. I think they just played in Australia, didn't they? But
Yeah.
one of them couldn't go because she's scared of flying. So Michelle Heaton from Liberty X went and enjoyed them. I quite enjoyed that story when I read it. I thought it was very strange. You know, I do. Maybe we'll look at this a bit tomorrow. But what do celebrities do when it's all over? And everyone thinks I've been on telly, must have loads of money. No, not really. You don't make that much. You don't make as much money being on telly as people think. And
having a taste of it kind of makes it worse when you don't have it anymore, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, and you know, if you are a recognisable face,
embarrassing.
And there shouldn't be any. I remember there was a big thing about Jeffrey from Rainbow working in Tesco. Well, no, he worked in Tesco, I think. Maybe he did a chip van as well. And the shame. No, fair play. He's getting off his arse and he's going out and earning a few quid.
What do they expect to happen?
There's no, because you can't sign, once you've been a celebrity, you can't sign on because you've probably been self-employed. So you can't go and sign on. You've got to go and work. There was another one as well. And it was someone working in a market it was a guy that played a psychopath in Coronation Street and he ended up working on a market and they were kind of doing it in a slightly sneery way. No, he's getting off his backside and he's going and earning a few quid.
Also, if he was an actor before, odds are he had all sorts of jobs before he was on Coronation Street.
And on that bombshell, dear listener, thank you. It was, what a show, huh? What a roller coaster. Back tonight at 10 o'clock. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you to you, dear listener. Ta-ta.
Talk Radio. Intelligent, organic entertainment.
Talk Radio.
We'll get you talking.